Today we are gathered here to discuss the Final Fantasy VII Remake. First impressions, basically. And I did a first impressions for Final Fantasy 15, but it was a skit and it was pretty funny if I do say so myself. I don't know why I'm not doing that for this. Instead, I'm just going to have a talk. But I have some things to say at this point so far, and this is an important moment for me. So I want to kind of document this time period of playing this game remake for the first time, and just, one day I'm not going to remember how I felt, right? So I am here to talk about how I feel right now, what I'm thinking right now. I play very slow. I think a lot of people are already done with the first episode, whatever. I think a lot of people are already done. I'm only about 17 hours in. I just got dropped into the sewer below Don Corneo's mansion. And I've just I've been bouncing my thoughts off of Zach. We've been talking a lot together throughout this time, but I wanted to put it out here just for documentation purposes, maybe discussion. I don't know. If you guys get too annoying, I'm going to turn the comments off. Because people, I don't know. The fandom for Final Fantasy is sometimes, I don't know, abrasive. Anyway, I don't have to explain my Final Fantasy VII clout or whatever, but I think it was the second game I ever had. I was in 7th grade. It was the year 2000, so I was a little late to the party, but it became my favorite game of all time, and I think I would still go ahead and say it's my favorite game of all time, although I have expanded my horizons greatly since then. So I've been, following the progression of this remake over the past few years, and it coming out, there's a lot of emotions, and there's a lot of expectations, and a lot of fear about how are they going to do this, how are they going to do this, and it's hard to be objective. It is hard to play the remake objectively, and I know it's a remake. It's not supposed to be the same. I know, but it still has big shoes to fill. So I'm here with my cat, who is she's just off screen as usual, not contributing to the cuteness of your view at all. But I have some notes here on my phone of just some things I want to talk about. I just want to talk. And that's the extent of my video game YouTube content, is me just discussing the game. And I know that's kind of boring, but I just want to, okay? This game has for 20 years been a fundamental part of my self-identity, so I feel like this is an important milestone to discuss here on YouTube. God, where do I begin? I think the character design or redesign was amazing. Great job. The casting so far of all the voice actors, amazing. I'm really impressed with how they kind of still keep this cartoonish anime kind of vibe, but make it more realistic. Now that we do have voices here on Final Fantasy VII, there's no more hiding the truth that we've been mispronouncing things. And I know since more recent Final Fantasies have come out with voices, you kind of get an idea of how certain things are said. I remember in high school, one of my friends would always say Chocobo instead of Chocobo. I never said Chocobo, but I definitely said Mako instead of Mako. Definitely said Tifa instead of Tifa, but that got cleared up sooner than just now. Definitely like to say Yuffie instead of Yuffie, although we haven't met Yuffie yet. Definitely said Don Corneo. Did anyone else say Don Corneo? Well, it's Corneo. So, I mean, that's kind of like reality setting in. Like, okay, the way I pronounced these things when I was 12 is maybe wrong. Definitely wrong. I like how some of the script is still the same. Sometimes I feel like they change the script unnecessarily. I know it's a remake, but one thing though is I love the cussing. I love that they have added cussing, more cussing in here. I love explicit language, and it's just really fun to hear that all the time from everyone. I love that they kept some of the details the same. Minor details, like the materia shop owner guy in Wall Market who's laying down like this. I love that they kept him. I love that in the reactor, or going into the reactor, you have to push, you and Barrett and Tifa all have to push that button at the same time. I love that they put that in there, and it's just as annoying as it was in the original. I like that they keep those tiny little details the same. However, since everything surrounding those details is so different and unfamiliar, sometimes I have found it hard to recognize those little gems that they put in there for us. And that's kind of it's kind of a frustration for me that things are entirely redesigned, that Wall Market looks almost 100% different, that Sector 7 is basically unrecognizable. I kind of hoped that they would keep more of the same layout, just make it a little more expanded, make the view a little more dynamic. But I don't know, I was a little bummed out that things are less recognizable. I thought they would be more familiar. And as far as the characters themselves, I really like that we're getting a real impression of who these people are even more. Cloud is on point. Barrett, he's even more aggressive than we've known him before, and I love it. Tifa is super sketchy. Does anyone else feel that way? Granted, I'm only 17 hours in, but she's kind of like shifty. Like she's always hiding something, or she's always like trying to manipulate me. It's weird. And then Eris. Oh, sorry. Okay. Here's another thing. I can't stand Eris with a TH. I cannot stand Aerith. I think it sounds horrible to my ears. I don't want her to be Aerith. And so Zach and I are always like, Earth. I know it's supposed to be like the word Earth made into a name, Aerith. But we still always just call her Aerith. It just does not sound cute like Eris. Eris sounds beautiful. But not Aerith. Aerith. No, I can't. It makes me so mad. And I'm like the only person who is mad about this. Please tell me someone out there hates the name Aerith. Anyway, Eris is kind of just as annoying as she was before. I don't know. I was never Team Eris. And I'm trying to be more open to her this time, but she's always poking me. She's always just pushing me and poking me. And also, I know everyone was in love with Cloud and flirting with Cloud in the last game, but it's dialed up to a new level in this game, and I'm just tired of being sexually harassed all the time. The point of being a boy in a video game is that you're not getting sexually harassed on a daily basis. And now these girls won't leave me alone. Jessie, Tifa, Eris, Andrea, Rodea, all these people on the street. Everyone's in love with me. Calm down. Speaking of Andrea Rodea, oh, yeah, this is the honeybee in dancing thing just happened. And I just don't know. Like Final Fantasy VII original was funny, but it was like more subtle, more subtly funny. And this, it's kind of weird. I don't know. The soundtrack is an abomination. The wall market music was gonna drive me insane. And pretty almost everything I was not happy with so far, music wise. What is this jukebox thing? I don't know, but that sounds terrible too. Who is this Chadley person? That's just what I wanted. I wanted you to transplant Hope from Final Fantasy 13 and put his annoying ass in Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's just what I wanted. Chadley? Chadley? What kind of a name is that? Could you at least not make it the most unattractive sounding name I've ever heard in my life? Besides Aerith, of course. And I feel like this is already going on too long. My video, that is, but like, it's hard when you know the story, you know what's gonna happen, but like, instead everything's like drug out to this whole new level. So instead of just like hitting Sector 7 and moving on, like, you have to stop and like help a little girl find her cats and stuff, and it's just, and it feels like it just takes forever to get somewhere, but the only reason it does is because you're just like walking down this path for a really long time. I don't know. It's like, it's not really expanded, it's just everything is lengthened. And I hate how in Wall Market you're going on all these errands for people that are just like total dead ends. Like, you go to help somebody or like get something from someone and you do all this work for them, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't going to help you anyway." I'm like, why are we doing all this? I don't know. I knew things were going to be expanded, of course, but I guess I didn't think that when things were going to be expanded, they would just be like me finding orphans that are forgot to go to class. Obviously they don't really play the victory song, the like fanfare song, or really they don't. I haven't heard that much of the battle music. I know they try to like make up for it here and there, like Barrett singing the battle fanfare song, and they also don't play the sleeping song when you sleep at a hotel, which is really sad. I found that it feels linear. It feels much more linear and less exploratory. That might change once we get out of Midgar. But, and this is something that I've seen changing in many RPGs, is you can't go in all the buildings anymore. They're just there, just like as decoration, but you can't go in all of them. That's one thing I loved about Final Fantasy, is going into all of the buildings, like all the houses. Like, I explore from top to bottom, talk to all the people, just go in everywhere. And now it's just most doors you can't go into. And I hate it. What's the point? And because you can't go in most places, it does have more of a linear kind of vibe to it, which is probably generally more acceptable now. But it feels very linear. It feels like I'm just walking down one path. And also, like, most of what's happening right now has been urgent. Like, storyline, it's been like, we have to get to Don Corneo's mansion. We have to get to the next reactor. We have to get back to Sector 7 or whatever. And so I'm just going off that, like, oh, well, I gotta go. And I'm not really taking time to hang out and explore. Like, I try to do all the quests that I can. It just has a weird flow right now. I'm just still, like, trying to get used to it. And like I said, it's hard to be objective right now. But I'd be interested to hear what first time players think of this. Like, people who have had no exposure to old FF7, like, what do they think of this new, fresh Final Fantasy game? There were just a few days where I didn't want to play. I was just kind of mad. but I still keep playing. It's just kind of, it's a lot to take in. And there are some disappointments that I'm just mad that I can't remove them, like Chadley. And the Wall Market music. I feel like this video has been kind of negative. I didn't mean for it to be necessarily, but those, like, obviously the initial excitement was grand and there and beautiful, and like I'm teary-eyed for the opening and all that, and it is fun to play. Like, I love the controls. I like the battle system, and I like that there is a degree of familiarity to all of this. But it's hard. It's just hard to get settled in, I guess. So I am picking out my personal issues. But I am putting this video out there just to like see what you guys think. Now, I haven't been reading much about any of this because I like to steer it clear of other people's opinions, actually. And like, I don't want spoilers. If there are probably spoilers that I don't want. But yeah, I'd like to look back on this moment, on this Katie who's brand new to FF7 Remake, and like, what are her little concerns and her gripes and her celebrations. And yeah, this is history. So, hence this video. I play games in small doses. I play really slowly, like I said, so I'm only like 17 hours in. And I've been playing it exclusively, even though I've been missing Skyrim and missing Tales of Berseria. I've still been sticking with it. And it's just, it's weird. I have a lot of feelings. A lot of stuff has been done really well. And a lot of stuff is weird. So I guess that's all I wanted to say so far. I'll probably think of more tonight while I'm trying to fall asleep. But anyway, if you ever want to talk Final Fantasy, I am here. That's it for now. Bye.